Soft White Underbelly is about truth-telling. It's about creating a space for stories on society's most marginalized that venture beyond our own biases, which is why Ground News is the perfect sponsor for my channel. In a world where sensational headlines flood our feeds, some of the most important stories get overshadowed. Ground News highlights local news from around the world, which gives an on-the-ground perspective that might be missing from national coverage. The app and website empowers you to form your own opinions by serving you every article published on any news story worldwide, plus data about its credibility and where it may fall on the political spectrum. I particularly like their blind spot feed, dedicated to showing news stories that are underrepresented in the mainstream media. Their election coverage was a great example of that. It's easy to forget how much bias can shape the reality we live in. And in a world where our attention is constantly being fought over, my Vantage plan easily helps me keep up with the more important stories slipping through the cracks. So I encourage you to check them out at ground.news/SWU. Right now they're offering 50% off their Vantage plan as a limited time offer. Their platform is also subscriber funded, meaning that when you subscribe through my link or even gift it to someone you know, you're helping to hold the media accountable and you're helping my channel. Thank you very much.
There you are.
There we go.
Yeah. That's good. Perfect.
All right, so I just wanted to say thank you yet again to all the brave people who have sat in the stool and told their stories, shared their stories. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and we've had some really great talks since the last talk, which is about a year ago, almost a year ago. And I think that some of the talks, especially like Demi is a good example, who I'm probably going to post the same week as this video. He's just a regular dude. He's not a drug addict. He's not a gang member. He's not a sex worker. He's not anything like that. He's just a dude who had a very interesting story to share and just did it. And I think that talk's as interesting as anything I've posted in the last year. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you wanted to share your story on my channel and you aren't necessarily a pimp or a gang member or a prostitute, we're open to that, because I think those stories are just as valid and interesting as those darker stories, perhaps. So the way to do that is to send a video, just like a 15, 20-second video, just so I can see what you look like and how you speak, to info@softwhiteunderbelly.com, along with a paragraph or 2 or 3 of your story, not too long, because we get hundreds and thousands of these every day, every week, and it gets overwhelming. So just keep it short and sweet, to the point, and we will get back to you if we're interested, and we'll figure out a way to get together. What else is going on?
Let's talk about the book.
Oh yeah, the book. So the first book that we did, which was a little over a year ago, was such a success that I decided to do a second one. Certainly I have enough images for multiple books. So we decided to do another book that is very similar to the first one. Again, it's a collection of great portraits and quotes from the interviews of people that we all know and love from this channel. There's another spread of Rebecca images. There are some color images of the Whitaker family, and plenty more. And basically, it's the same concept as the first one. So that will be available. This is just an advanced copy. I've got a dozen or 3 of those, and it'll be ready to ship probably in about a month or so. So February, I would guess, sometime in February. So you can what's it called? Advanced
Pre-order.
Pre-order. You can pre-order the second book, the second Soft White Underbelly book, if you like, and we will be shipping those probably in February.
Perfect. We also still have merch.
And then we also have the T-shirts and the hoodies and hats and all that stuff, merch. All that is available at softwhiteunderbelly.org. And that's what's going on with that.
And then let's share, if you're ready, I think you've been working on a long format project.
Oh, yeah. So there is basically a 2-hour film, documentary film, that I've been working on for the last couple of years, titled Fig. The bulk of it are 4 interviews that have never been seen on my channel before. They're the 4 best interviews I think I've ever done from that subculture. There's some other stuff that you've seen maybe here and there before, but the bulk of this video
the bulk of this 2-hour film is all new material. And original music done by my friend Scott Tibbs, who's incredible. And we'll be screening this at the gallery opening at Fahey Klein Gallery. I'm having a gallery show of my photography from Soft White Underbelly later this week on Thursday, January 16th in the evening. So that'll be a gallery opening along with this film that we'll be screening as part of that show. I'm really proud of it. It's probably the best thing I've done in relation to this project. So we'll see. We'll see how I'm going to release it. But the only place you can really see it for now is at that gallery show at Fahey Klein, which is, what's the address? 148 North La Brea, I think, in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, and which I've had shows there before, and this is, I think, my fourth show there. So, and the gallery show is going to be pretty great too, I think. It's a collection of prints of these images. Some of them are pretty spectacular, I would say. You've seen them in the videos, but not like this. Not like this. This is really how they were meant to be shown and seen. Because I'm a photographer. I'm not an interviewer. I'm a photographer. So this is how this work is supposed to be displayed and shown. So if you want to come to Fahey Klein Gallery, the opening is on the 16th, and it'll run for another month and a half after that. So January 16th, the evening of that evening through March 1st, I believe, is the closing of that show.
That's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it will be.
Okay, moving along with more updates. There have been fires, not only here, but I know you wanted to touch base about the Whitakers as well.
Oh, the Whitakers. Whitakers had a fire just before LA had their fires. The Whitaker fire, I mean, it's I don't know what the cause of it is. It looks very suspicious to me, but it is what it is. There were some GoFundMe donations to help the Whitakers. The money is not going to BJ and her drug situation. I'm paying the person who is going to clean up the lot for repositioning the new motorhome. So no funny business with the money there. And that's what's going on there. The LA fires is really a tragedy. It's really sad how a town, Pacific Palisades, just got wiped off the map almost. I'm sure it'll come back in 5-10 years. Probably better than ever. It'll probably be the most vibrant, interesting town in Los Angeles once all the new architecture is up and all that. But that's going to take, like I said, 5-10 years probably. And it's a beautiful town. That's where I raised my kids. Really sad. Like, all my kids' friends, their families had homes there. It's just a tragedy, but this is what happens. You know, you get, I don't know we don't know what the causes of this fire yet, but most likely some of these LA fires were probably caused by homeless people. I would think, you know, because it was cold. It's in the 40s at night. Somebody wants a fire to stay warm, and then the winds pick up, and boom, next thing you know, you got a fire that's unstoppable because the winds are like 80 miles an hour. No fire department can stop that. So it was just a really sad situation. It's been a rough week in LA, especially on the west side.
It's still going on.
Still going on. Yeah.
We're just hearing stories from people who have lost their homes now. So
yeah, and I was lucky enough to sell my house last year there, the house that we raised our kids in. And I live in Santa Monica now, so I'm basically avoiding all the tragedy of all that, but it just still hits me.
So the update is that so far so good, but we're on a rebuild here in LA, the whole city, and I think we're going to see. We just have to take it day by day. Yeah,
I mean it's only been a few days now, so but I've seen other situations like this, and towns rebuild. That's what humans do. And I have no doubt in my mind that it'll come back better than ever. It was always a great town, but it'll be better than ever in 5-10 years. Oh, by the way, so many people offered me a place to stay in case my house was burnt. Wish it wasn't. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has offered. I never knew I had that many people that cared about me. It was really beautiful. Just want to say thank you to everybody. But we're all fine. What else?
2 more things. I know Timmy did 2 drawings that we want to
Yes.
do a silent auction on.
We should have mentioned that. Timmy Whitaker did 2 drawings while I was there shooting that video about and I just figured I don't know how to give the money to Timmy and Ray and Lorraine, but we'll figure out some way to do it or buy them something or something like that. But I will be doing some silent auction with that. We're not going to do it on eBay because we've learned through doing signed books that eBay is not a good way to sell these kind of items to the highest bidder. But I'll announce something in the next few weeks, probably in February, of how we're going to sell these 2 Demi Whitaker drawings. And I'll put them up on screen here so you can see them. Okay. So that's that.
And then I thought, if you don't mind, we do get a lot of emails from people just asking not only to help a specific person from a story, but they're just reaching out saying, how can I help, generally speaking? So
just the people that you see in, like, not all the people, but some of the drug stories and things like that.
Yeah.
I used to have a GoFundMe that people could donate to. It was a general GoFundMe. It kind of just was spread across everybody that I interview. There is no easy solution. You can't just throw money at a drug addict and say, here, get better. It doesn't work like that. The person has to get so fed up with their own bullshit that they finally just say, look, what do I need to do to change my situation? And then they take the steering wheel and do it themselves. That's how it works 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Every once in a while, somebody has to go into like a conservatorship and you rebuild their life for them and show them how it's done, and then maybe they can stay on track. But people still relapse in both these situations. I'm no longer doing the GoFundMe because so many of these GoFundMes have turned into just literally every single one. Every single person I've helped with GoFundMe, I'm helping them, and they, in their head, they start thinking, oh, that's my new meal ticket. And I'm letting them know this is just temporary. This is just to help you get through this rough patch, and then you're going to be on your own one day. It has never worked that way. It's always turned into some ugly thing where they start trying to extort me or trying to make up some bullshit story or whatever, because they saw me as their source of income. And I am not going to be their source of income. I was just a helper for a while. So the GoFundMes are no longer, I'm not going to do a whole lot of those anymore. But if you want to help somebody that you see on my channel, keep in mind that there are people in your own town, somewhere close to your home. You probably don't live near Skid Row. Somebody close to you that can use the help that you're offering, that you're thinking of giving to so Caroline or whoever you saw on my channel. There's somebody in your neighborhood that could use that. And it's not easy. It's going to take a lot of time, effort, energy, money.
Kindness.
Jesus, you're going to have a lot of heart.
And patience.
And patience, because it's not going to be a smooth road.
Yeah. But these random acts of kindness really do spread.
That's really what it requires, random acts of kindness. If you're not hip on random acts of kindness, then get out of this game, because that is not what is going to work. That only these extreme acts of kindness are what change anything.
Yeah, giving people the time of day.
If you're looking for some kind of I'm going to give you this if you do that. It doesn't work like that. No. You just have to give and give and give and give and give again.
Kind. Just be kind.
Get hit in the nose every time, and then eventually something sticks.
Yeah. Right. And there will always be somebody that needs help.
Always.
There will always be somebody that needs help, and we got to get through this together. So.
Yep.
That was it for that. I do have a few questions if you're open to it.
Okay.
I thought, why not? I've got you in front of the camera.
You always come up with these fun questions. I don't know what they are, but let's find out.
Today I didn't share a whole lot. Well, okay, let's just jump into it.
Okay.
How would you describe what you're seeing in front of your camera daily?
Oh, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I just find humans fascinating. I find all these people fascinating, whether it's these Mexican mafia interviews that I've done recently, or if it's a down and out drug addict, or what, like, all human stories are interesting. That's why I love Denny's video, which I mentioned earlier, so much. He was just like, he's just a dude like me. But he's been through these rough spots, and he spoke about it so beautifully, so eloquently. It was beautiful, great talk. I find that shit interesting. And apparently some viewers do too. That's why I've got such a following. But I don't know what direction the channel is going to go. I mean, I've obviously changed direction in the last couple of years, but I'll probably do that again and continue to do that. I would like to do more like regular people like you and me. Yeah. I think those would be interesting. I'd really love to do more successful people, like wildly successful, but I find those are rarely as honest as the people who have nothing to lose.
Right. Yeah, and you just like to open the platform for people to share the story that they want to share.
Thank you. You're like my publicist.
It is the truth, though. Okay, what's another one? Can we talk a little bit about the underlying mood of some of the trauma that we are witnessing as a society of the kids? Can we touch on that a little?
That gets heavy.
I know. Are we too late to fix the problem is really how I want to start the question.
I think I am forever hopeful, but I do see a lot of people that just don't really want to look or address anything. You know, I see human greed as a huge component of all these problems, because the wealthy don't really want to share their wealth. And what that wealth would do if it was shared, hopefully, would provide better schooling. You know, the cost of living is also a huge part of all this, because what I see in so many of these stories, especially like in the hood, there are so many families that are just strapped, and they're scrambling, trying to figure out how to make it through the week or the month, that they're doing whatever they can, and eventually that leads to something to do with drugs or guns or something illegal. And somebody ends up in prison, so then you don't have a dad around, and the mom is doing this, and there's drugs. It's like the whole thing is just a mess. And if more funds were put into these families and schooling, and to make it not so incredibly difficult here in Los Angeles, it's incredibly difficult just to survive as a family.
Yeah, the formula of somebody just getting a job, the dad working and the mom taking care of the family, one income home it's nowhere now. You can't have that even anywhere in the country.
Yeah. No, it's bad everywhere, but LA is like an extreme example. It's just life is difficult, and it's becoming more difficult, it seems. And it's like I just see human greed as a part of the problem. And how do you stop that? Okay, we're not going to be greedy anymore. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. But I'm hopeful. And maybe somebody will set a great example, and people will be like, wow, that was really amazing, and something will change by an example.
I don't know how to even ask this question, but with the work that we do together, we see a lot of broken families. We see a lot of people that have children, but they are not a family unit.
Right.
Can you talk about that at all? About what you feel from 8,500 interviews?
Yeah, I mean, I think, because I had great parents. They stayed married until my mom died a few years ago, and everybody should have that, ideally, I think, because it just gives you, it grounds you, and it gives you the stability. And, you know, I had good parents too, so you end up like believing in yourself and believing in your self-worth and things like that. Those are gifts that you have a small window to give those gifts to your kid.
And set an example.
And set an example. By setting an example and brainwashing into your kid that he is worthy, she is worthy, she's smart, funny, talented, likable, all these things. And once you brainwash that kid into believing that, they're going to believe that the rest of their lives. It's so important.
For them to have the time to explore who they are too, just to
become
awesome.
We're all individuals, and everybody goes their different directions. But I mean, that's really the core of why these videos are being made by me. It's just like I want people to see how important parenting is. It's the number one job we all have. if you're going to be a parent.
That's really the question, is the biggest lesson you think people need to be reminded about. Sounds like that's the biggest
Yeah,
lesson.
forget about your own gratification. Just worry about your kid. When your kid's 20 years old, then you can go do whatever the hell you want to do.
If you decide to have kids.
if you decide to have kids, which not everybody should do.
We've had interesting talks, you and I, not in front of a camera, but how can I try to bring it in front for awareness? But we have talked a little bit about, should there potentially be more education for parenting, or a license
yes.
potentially? Or
I mean, that's a crazy concept, but they're teaching all these advanced, like trigonometry and
calculus.
Calculus and all this stuff where you can use a cell phone and figure that out very quickly. Instead of teaching like human relations and how to get along with others and how to
balance a checkbook,
handle money. Like, Jesus Christ, especially when I was doing Skid Row interviews, I don't think there was a single person I interviewed for the first 2 years of this channel that paid taxes. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was a single person that had a bank account. It was just like what is going on? And it just seems like there should be more focus on that and less on trigonometry,
Yeah, let's dumb it down a little.
I mean, nothing's more important than those skills.
Yeah.
And they're not even taught.
Yeah.
And parents don't teach it. Maybe some do. Really good parents do, by example and by some talking to your kids. But for the most part, people are just too busy working, making money, cooking dinner, doing whatever.
Being strapped, having to work too much.
Everyone's strapped and stressed, and the kids pay the price.
And if we don't address something soon, it's just going to continue to blow up and
It
get
ain't
worse.
getting better.
Yeah.
No.
Since it's 2025 now, and we're 5 years out of the pandemic, we're really seeing some of the effects that the pandemic had on some of the youth.
I don't know if we're 5 years out of it, but we're at least two or three.
What can you talk about with that? Let's hear some of Mark's thoughts on that.
Oh, I don't know. The pandemic, I don't know. It'll probably happen again. People love to get scared.
But we see an effect on the children, and potentially like even how they're dating or not dating.
Yeah, don't even ask me about that.
That's a big one.
The way dating works now is it's crazy.
It's definitely not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be. Where you see somebody at lunch that looks interesting and you chat it up, and next thing you know you're getting
coffee.
friendly.
Yeah.
Now it's like I see just the men, young men. I'm not talking about the females, but the men. They seem, I don't know. I wouldn't want to date any of these guys if I was a girl in my 20s. I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions.
Yeah.
But
what's changed? Is it social media?
I don't know if it's social media. I'm sure that has. I think porn being so accessible is a huge part of it. I think something in the water, or why is everyone's testosterone so low? Why are there so many people that are trans or getting close to trans now? What is that? I don't think that ever existed 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just documenting it.
There was a nice, large gay community. I remember growing up because I grew up with models.
No, and gay is cool, but like I need to be a woman.
Like
who the fuck is like?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yep.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's something to think about. Can you share? It's another deep question. Women versus men, nesting versus hunting. Anything we can? That's
an Orion question.
It is.
that's an Orion Teravan question.
I feel as if, as a woman, and I've said to you, here I am with no kids, kind of feeling like I might be part of the problem because I love working. I'm not the girl that stays at home, but I do take care of my house, and I am married.
Yes, you are.
So it's just this toss-up of...
Well, I try to live my life the way I would have if I was born a century before, in terms of how I eat, in terms of how I go through my day, and how I date, and how I do everything. I'm not taking advantage of social media or technology or any of those things. I am super old school about everything. You know, I eat like a caveman and I act like a caveman. I think that's probably a healthier way. It's probably how humans are meant to be and interact.
It is refreshing when men are men and women are women.
That's it.
It's a beautiful.
That's it.
It's a
When
beautiful
women were women,
balance.
I thought that was cool. And a man wants to take care of a woman when they are in their femininity. And a woman wants to take care of a man when he's being a real man. But these men with fingernail polish and like wearing blouses, and
Not working.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
That's just
Well-
me. That's just me. I'm a square.
I know. We'll just let that drift off and
you're
let people
going to
think
get me in hot
about
water
it.
with these questions.
No, that's kind of it. The only other one I thought would be dark and fun to throw out there is just about fentanyl and drug issues and prescriptions
I don't
that
know.
are being.
I would love to figure out why. I just came back from Costa Rica and Mexico for a vacation, and first vacation I've taken since I started this channel, really, in 6 years almost. And I just noticed there were no homeless people, no drug addicts, no sign of any of that stuff. I'm sure if I went looking for it, I'd probably find some of it, but not like here in LA. You can go to Beverly Hills, and you can't go through Beverly Hills or Pacific Palisades before it was burned down, or Santa Monica, or Brentwood, or Venice, or without seeing a homeless person living there, living on the street in your front yard sometimes.
Oh yeah, daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't ignore these things because, I mean, like these fires, I bet you, I can guarantee that some of these, like there's like 5 fires right now in LA. Some of them were, probably all of them, maybe, were caused by a homeless person who just had a fire going because it was so cold at night. And then the wind picks up and you can't stop it then. And that's just our wanting to look the other way. I don't want to deal with these homeless people. You don't want to deal with them, you're going to end up with a problem like we just had this week.
Well, it takes a miracle, and
And I believe in miracles. Yeah. Me too. And so I just keep trying. I'm forever hopeful. You get discouraged sometimes, but I just keep hoping that something sticks. Maybe by doing thousands of videos, somebody will like wake up a little bit and society might change a little bit. But being a great parent is a very noble thing to do. Take care of your kid.
thanks, Mark. That's nice. That's a nice way to end the message.
There we go.
All right. Have
Thanks
a
a
nice
lot.
day, everybody.